Why are we seeing so many UFOs over America all of a sudden? The U.S. military shot down 3 unidentified objects in a single weekend. Why are American skies so filled with UFOs all of a sudden? In a span of 2 weeks, in February 2023, the U.S. military pilot shot down 4 mysterious objects spotted over the United States and Canada. The military identified the first of these objects as a 200-foot tall Chinese spy balloon floating approximately 60,000 feet over Alaska in late January. The government tracked the balloon for several days as it floated southeast across the country, eventually shooting it down off the South Carolina coast with a fighter jet on February 4. While the other 3 objects, which include a car-sized cylinder shot down over Canada's frigid Yukon territory and a strange octagonal object shot into the waters of Lake Huron of the Great Lakes, remain unidentified and were all destroyed between February 9 and 12. These 3 objects were less sophisticated than the spy balloon, White House officials said on February 13 press briefing, and floated between altitudes of 20,000 and 40,000 feet. However, they were flying in an airspace used by commercial airplanes, which added to the security risk, government officials said. These rapid-fire incidents have left many wondering why the government is suddenly detecting and destroying so many unidentified objects in U.S. and Canadian airspace. Are there really more objects up there than usual, or is the military simply getting better at tracking them? While it's impossible to know for sure how many objects are in a given country's airspace at any time, government officials have been clear on one point. Following the detection of the Chinese surveillance balloon in late January, the military deliberately broadened its search of foreign objects at similar altitudes, and that effort apparently has been a success. We have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week. This is what Melissa Dalton, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense and Hemispheric Affairs, said in a news briefing on February 12. In other words, after the military successfully tracked the spy balloon across the country for several days, they learned the best way to detect similar objects in similar altitudes that had previously gone unnoticed. Jack Weinstein, professor of international security at Boston University and retired lieutenant general with the U.S. Air Force, told Life Science in an interview. Weinstein said, "I think it all stems from the balloon. It appears to me that the military is just now figuring out how to track those items. While the military has not yet identified any of these 3 objects subsequently shot down in February, both the U.S. and Canadian governments have suggested a pattern between these objects and the downed spy balloon and declined to rule out the possibility that they are all part of a foreign spying effort." John Kirby, a spokesperson for the White House National Security Council, added in the February 13 press briefing that China has been surveilling the U.S. with high-altitude spy balloons for several years, at least since the administration of former President Donald Trump, but that those objects had never been detected before now. Meanwhile, China has claimed that the U.S. has flown spy balloons into its airspace more than 10 times since January 2022, National Public Radio reported. The strange incidents from early February are just the latest in a string of hundreds of encounters between U.S. military personnel and alleged unidentified flying objects, UFOs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, as the military preferred to call them, reported over the last several years. In 2022 alone, Department of Defense officials opened investigation into 366 reported UAP sightings, 171 of which remained unresolved by the year's end, according to the first annual report of the All-Domain Anomaly Research Office, AARO, a Pentagon office founded in the early 2022 to investigate alleged UAP sightings by military personnel. That single year's caseload is more than double the 144 alleged UAP encounters reported by the military during the previous 17 years, according to a Pentagon report detailing UAP sightings between 2004 and 2021. So this huge increase in alleged UAP sightings may be the result of a culture shift within the military, Weinstein told Live Science, with military personnel less likely to feel stigmatized for reporting these strange encounters. The military may be transitioning into a culture where people are not ridiculed for reporting unknown phenomena that maybe in the past they would be ridiculed for, Weinstein said, adding that his father, a radio operator on a World War II bomber, saw phenomena he could not explain but did not feel comfortable reporting them. Weinstein said the culture now allows pilots to make those reports. Of the 366 newly opened UAP cases last year, 163 were resolved as balloons or balloon-like entities, according to the AARO year-end report. Another 26 cases were identified as drones, while 6 more were identified as airborne clutter, such as birds or plastic bags. Cases for prior years have also been attributed to weather phenomena and optical illusions. Nowhere in the report are extraterrestrial aliens mentioned as a possible explanation for UAP. For Weinstein, this is no surprise. Weinstein said, "I would think that if you're smart enough to travel to Earth from another planet, you'd be smart enough not to get caught." This is by Brandon Spector, Live Science. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.